The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hey everyone, welcome to the post office. I am your host, Mayor Lisa Post of the town of Orangeville. I'm really excited that you're all joining me again here today for a brand new season of the show. I'm really excited because I've got two very special guests with me today. To my immediate left, I've got Steve Solomon, who is the Mayor of Grand Valley, and beside Steve, I have Chris Garretts, who is the Mayor of Amaranth. They are both joining me today to talk about something pretty exciting. Dufferin County's got a very unique opportunity coming to us, and we are going to talk about the International Plowing Match. So I will turn it over to one of you to start and tell me a little bit about what the International Plowing Match is. Go ahead, maybe, Steve.
All right, thank you, Mayor Post. Yes, thanks for having me on the show, and we're very excited. The International Plowing Match is finally coming to Dufferin County. We've never done it before.
Not ever?
No.
Okay.
No, this is new and it's big, and I'm just hoping it's a success. I'm hoping that for the people that volunteered to work at it, that's what's going to drive it. And I can't thank them enough. Is the volunteers that are actually the boots on the ground that are putting this thing together, and they deserve a lot of credit. It's Chris and I we are the media people sort of stuff, but we don't really do as much as maybe people think. So I really hope it goes well. It's something we've never tried, and I think it will be a success.
I think it's going to be awesome. And I've heard of plowing matches, but I see them on smaller scales. So I know a lot of county fairs and municipal fairs do plowing matches as part of it. But what's the difference between one of those plowing matches and the International Plowing Match?
Well, I think it's just the scale. So the numbers are roughly 70 to 90,000 people over the 4 or 5 days.
So the population of Dufferin County and then some will come into.
Yeah, well, I think our populations combined are about 8,000. So we're looking at a tenfold increase over that period of time. Really confined to 4 farms, so 500-600 acres. It's just really the scale. There's 500 or 600 RVs in the RV park. There's 100 acres worth of tents with vendors and other displays, and then of course there's the plowing and the Queen of the Furrow program, which is the winner then competes internationally at the international pageant. So it's very exciting.
And when they say International Plowing Match, does that mean that it actually will happen anywhere in the world? Or is there a Canadian edition of the International Plowing Match? And how does that work?
This is the Canadian edition of the.
Okay.
This is the International Plowing Match Canadian edition. So I believe the champion from this plowing match can compete overseas. At different and the people that like the plowing match part. Like, it's not only a plowing match. It is essentially a plowing match, but there's way more there to see if you're not into plowing like a lot of people are that are the competitors, of course.
Right.
They are very, very, that's what they do, and they compete hard and like to win.
Well, there's we probably should get the name right. It's the International Plowing Match and Rural Expo.
Yeah.
So the and Rural Expo is the other stuff, the important part. And I think it's similar to what you would see at the Royal Winter Fair, although not quite as animal intensive as the Royal Winter Fair is. Right. But they do have sheep shearing competitions. They have rodeo, the cowgirls, riders. What else?
Well, and they have the rural vendors as well, right? Lots of rural vendors, agricultural vendors.
They have, and there's some local food vendors there as well. In terms of other competitions, they have the plowing, which is a big thing, but the interesting ones are they have your tractor plowing, but then they also have the horse teams. I think there's around 10 or 12 of those, so there's which would be neat to see. And new this year is the speed plowing, which if you go on YouTube and look up speed plowing,
I'm gonna have to now.
they've never done it, and it is like the NASCAR of plowing. I think is so
interesting.
If you look at it, it started in Sweden of all places, but they go about 25 kilometers an hour plowing 3 furrows, so three wide, and they do 4 passes, and they're judged on accuracy and speed. But you know, sort of like when you pull a handbrake on a car going around the corner, that's what they do in a giant tractor to turn 180 degrees. So that's the first time they've ever done it. It looks very interesting, and I think that'll bring a whole different crowd out to see that. You know, your truck and tractor pull crowd may be more interested in a speed plowing than
that's a very cool thing. So when does it start? What should the general public know about it? So when does it start? How long does it run? That kind of stuff.
I believe it starts on the 18th, and then it starts with the parade, and then
which is the 19th, right? The 19th is the parade. Yeah. Okay.
And then there's dignitaries, of course, and they're bigger dignitaries than Chris and I. There's the people from Queen's Park. I think they shut down and come up that day, and some may jump on a tractor and not speed plow maybe, but they will attempt.
Excellent.
Yes, and so yeah, and then there's as I say, a parade, and then it goes right into I think a 4-H calf show. Beyond that, and then there's something always happening.
And how long does it run till? When are the closing ceremonies, if that's a thing?
It goes until the 23rd, and I think you'll start seeing people in the RV park as soon as the weekend before. I think there is a concert in the RV park. Tickets are available to the public.
Oh, excellent.
It's the Campfire Poets on the 16th, so the Saturday night. And I think every evening they have some sort of musical act.
I saw that when I looked at the lineup. I saw that there was a really good selection of local musicians playing, lots of great bands, something for everybody. I saw lots of tribute bands, even a Garth Brooks tribute band one day. So should be interesting. I think there's a lot of really great stuff going on.
There's the Mudmen, who are a sort of a Celtic punk band that I think they used to play at the Fergus Games a lot, because that was their thing. I know the Dufferin County tent has the Campfire Poets and Ashley McIsaac playing throughout the week.
Oh, great.
But there's lots of music, and it's all available on the website and in the guide.
Excellent. So I know you guys talked about the kind of the group, the organization that's come together to put it together. So what has it taken to bring an event of this magnitude with 70 or 80,000 people coming to this area? What has that taken? What's involved in that?
Well, I guess to start, the event is really happening because of the landowners who wouldn't take no for an answer. So you've got the Overgaw family, the Masnauer family, Steve Illich, and I believe the Boys a farm, and I'm probably missing some, but they're the ones that really wanted the event. They all happen to be neighbors, so you've got this large landmass, nearby. So that was the driving force.
While you're talking about them, I'm going to stop you for just 1 second, because this is a good opportunity, now that you've mentioned their names, to talk about exactly what the location is, because we haven't talked about that yet. And then you can go back to what it takes. So if you can tell the location.
So it is in Bowling Green, which is County Road 10 and between Amaranth 7th line and 8th line. Okay. You can find Bowling Green on Google Maps.
Okay, good.
But so they were the driving force. The local committee, which is chaired by Bill McCutcheon and Don Van Kampen, has been the force organizing it. But really, there's 60 committee chairs. Cindy Sabo has been in charge of volunteers. I know that she has probably at this point over 600 volunteers for the match, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
It's the kind of thing we're not used to seeing in Amaranth and Dufferin, just that many. I know we are getting a lot of volunteers from outside of Dufferin. So Caledon, all the residents of Caledon, their local Plowmen's Association, have been very helpful in both promoting and volunteering. So we're getting a lot of help there, and from everywhere in Dufferin, and a lot of people from Wellington County. But that's that's what it takes. That they've been working on it for a year, and I know for the past few months they've probably been working on it as full-time jobs. So
Yeah, it takes an incredible dedication and volunteer manpower to get everything done. Do you have anything to add to that?
Thank you, Lisa. Behind the committees, there is a committee, the plowing match committee, and they steer the other committees. Like, they do a plowing match every year.
So that's the main group that kind of has the book on how to do this.
They
goes
have the
from county to
playbook on,
county. Okay.
and then they just rely on our manpower, our volunteers, our enthusiasm to pull it off. And as Chris was right, it was the landowners that were, well, why don't we do it? So then kind of got that Amaranth and Grand Valley that thought, yeah, maybe we could do it. And then that's what changed my mind, was them. That we could, they said, well, you know, you got the land, and we didn't know if we'd have the capacity, but it turns out that we do. So
it's amazing. It's amazing how the community will come together for something like this.
That's what it takes for everything.
It probably has been more grassroots than in the past, because they haven't had as much reliance on municipal staff to support it. So Amaranth, for example, told them right out of the gate that with a staff of about 13, we can't dedicate a staff member to help you. But what we can do, because with a staff of 13, we're a bit agile and nimble, we can help when we have capacity. But we can't dedicate, half of our roads crew to help. But if they've, if they're all up, if their work's already done and they've got an afternoon, they can come. And that's worked great. Grand Valley's probably the same situation. So that is, that's just meant they've had to rely more on their volunteers. So they've, that's probably been the biggest thing, and made it more grassroots. So, yeah.
Well, and I think what the community really needs to understand when we're talking about the magnitude of this event is that they've created basically an entire small town in this 600 acres with full hydro poles, with room for tents, with all new ditches and culverts that have been added. It's significant.
All temporary. So they have a complete, as we said, a water treatment system and a water distribution system for the RV park that is going to be managed by a licensed operator, so it's safe. And this is something they do every year, but it is all temporary. So when it's done, those culverts are all coming down. The land will be left as it was. The pipes will come out of the ground, and but it is a lot of work to get it set up. And the scale is, you can say 100 acres, and I grew up in the country, so I kind of know what it is. But when you drive by now and see 100 acres worth of hydro poles and posts for RV hookups, it is a very large scale.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I should add, Lisa, generally when people are putting on a plowing match, like municipalities, they get a 3-year lead up or a 2-year lead up. We've got a 1. So we try to get it together quick as we like. Maybe sometimes you have a 3-year lead up and you do everything in last year. But that was forced for us, so we didn't have the time that previous plowing matches would have had to get together. But
no, that's excellent. Well, thank you for sharing all the information about the plowing match. I know I'm really looking forward to it. We do have to head over to a break, but we will be back with both you gentlemen after the break to talk about your municipality. So join back in. We'll see you back in a couple minutes.
What did you leave out?
Are you low on food? Struggling to pay the bills? Overwhelmed by life's challenges? When you need support but don't know where to turn, just dial 211. 211 connects you to the programs or services near you.
211, how can I help you?
211, help starts here.
welcome back. And again, if you're just joining us, we are joined today by Mayor Steve Solomon from Grand Valley and Mayor Chris Garretts from Amaranth. We've just spent some time talking about the International Plowing Match and pretty exciting stuff. So thank you guys for telling us about all of that. It's a lot going on in the county, and it's going to be really good economic impact for us. So I did want to take a bit of time, though, to let the community get to know both of you a little bit. So let's talk about Grand Valley first. So Steve, sure. How long have you been on council in Grand Valley? How long have you been in the area?
Well, the first one's easy, or the second one's easy. I've been here. I've never been anywhere else.
Okay, you've always lived in the area.
Nothing exotic about me, but it's just, yeah, I've been on council. I was a councillor for 4 years. I was deputy mayor for 4 years. I've been a mayor for 9, so I'm on my 3rd term of mayor. And
wonderful.
Who knows what will go on? I've said I'd leave at the end of every term. That's it. But
you keep coming back
for one reason or other. Yes.
And Chris, what about you? So how long have you been in the area? How long have you been on council in Amaranth?
Well, I've been here my whole life, except for 10 years I spent at school in Guelph, and then a couple years living there. So
which is still pretty close.
Yeah. So we moved back here in 2005. And I've been on council. This is my 3rd term. So one as councillor, one as deputy mayor, and now my term as mayor.
Excellent. And for the community to know, I've gotten to know these gentlemen really well over the last few months as we sit together on county council. So I guess with both of your terms as mayor too, so this will be your 2nd term on county council and your 4th, I guess? 3rd term on county council. So can you talk about a little bit about what's going on in your municipality? So Steve, maybe I'll start with you. What's going on in Grand Valley? What's the pressing issues going on over there? I know it's growing and has changed a lot. So
that is the issues, yes. And we growth suits some people. It suits me fine.
Yeah.
You kind of go ahead or go back. I would rather go ahead. So we have we've expanded our urban boundaries, as you on county council know. I think the biggest thing in this can happen in Grand Valley is if we need employment. Mm-hmm. We have employment lands designated. We have to get them serviced. We have to have somebody that wants to come in and build something where he can employ people. That helps the tax base, because right now in Grand Valley, 90% of the taxes are paid by the residents. So we need industry, and then we have to realize, like with that, recreation is another important thing, and with that, everybody's at a different stage of the game. Like you have seniors want senior things, families want children things, and then there's a want from everybody, and on council, you just try to help out where you can.
Well, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because there is a need for the growth. We know that we are in a housing crisis and that we have to do our part. So it was great to see that you took the initiative and that your council took the initiative to expand your boundaries. And I know that Grand Valley is the fastest growing municipality in Dufferin County for the next 20 years or so based on those growth numbers. You've got that most aggressive growth target of all the Dufferin County municipalities. But you've hit it exactly right, that when you're doing that growth, part of it is the residential, but you have to build complete communities. So I think it's really great that you're already talking about some of those things.
That is the goal. If that's our focused, laser focused on that, and yes, thanks.
That's
what
exciting.
we're trying to do. Yeah.
That's really exciting. What about you, Chris? What's going on in Amaranth?
Well, it's a little different. We have no urban center at all. So I live in the hamlet of Waldemar, which is about 120 or so houses, and that's sort of our largest area. Fortunately, we do have a commercial industrial zoned area, the Farmington area, which, as you would know, borders Orangeville. You see development there now with Ritchie Brothers coming, and so that's exciting for us, because traditionally we are also 90% plus residential tax base. We have the same pressures as everyone, but our solutions have to be a little different. We've taken the stance to protect agricultural areas, so we're really trying to steer development to those settlement areas. And what I'm particularly proud of, and you both would know, is our ability to share services. So Amaranth, we don't have a library, we don't have fire, we don't have recreation, but we sit on boards in Shelburne, Grand Valley, and we reimburse for costs to the Orangeville services. Amaranth doesn't have the ability to have any of those services on their own, so we need everybody else. even when you talk about shared water services, so Orangeville and Amaranth have an agreement to share a well and service a development in Amaranth. To me, those are the things I'm most proud of, and I think we need to capitalize on more, because those sorts of efficiencies benefit everybody. And it gets away from in the past where it's been the 3 urban centers versus the rural areas in Dufferin. And I think that the hardest part is to find that balance without a third party or the province saying, well, you guys are sharing so many services, you should just be a single tier, because I think that's a completely different conversation.
It is.
And so you can have the efficiencies without having to go to single tier, and I think Amaranth does it well with the help of Grand Valley, Shelburne, and Orangeville, and I think that can be something that the entire county can look at, and to be honest, maybe other parts of the province that aren't doing it and they're looking for ways to provide services better.
Well, and I think historically Orangeville and Shelburne particularly have kind of been, and Orangeville more than anywhere else, has been a bit seen as the big bully at the county, because we're the biggest urban center, and we do have control a lot of the population. But I think what's changed, and it's really great working with both of you, because I know I've learned a lot about the agricultural side and the importance to even Orangeville residents about what agriculture does for our community as a whole. And we have to do better at eliminating boundaries and erasing these imaginary borders, and instead trying to all work together to build communities that help all of us, because my residents are your residents and are your residents.
True enough.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned it to you before in particular, that the relationship between Amaranth and Orangeville really improved greatly the past 2 terms. So starting with Sandy Brown and Andy McIntosh, they were great. I think Steve will agree, at the county, thinking big picture, not thinking how does this county decision benefit Orangeville in particular. And it's continued with yourself and Deputy Mayor Taylor, just looking at the bigger picture that's going to benefit everybody. It may benefit Orangeville a bit more, it may benefit Orangeville a bit less, but big picture, everybody's going to realize an advantage.
And a development like the Ritchie Brothers, for example, that's a benefit to Dufferin County, not just Amaranth. So I know that in the past there was some battles of, oh, well, I don't want them to build there because I want them in my municipality, but that development is good for everybody. It really is. That grows economics within our whole county. It gives employment opportunities and all sorts of stuff.
And we have, if you look at Shelburne, there's Ice River Springs at KTH, and right around that is residential development within the township of Amaranth, and I'm sure there's a portion of them that go there to work, and hopefully when Grand Valley's business area grows, which is very close to Waldemar, actually bordering Amaranth, same thing. Amaranth is going to see that benefit, and to be honest, Orangeville will too, for people coming in to use those services. So it's win-win.
So what's next for Grand Valley? What do you think is on the horizon? What do you want to accomplish this term outside of course, the massive growth? So what are some cool things that you want to try and accomplish?
We're trying to revive the downtown as well. Awesome. It's unique when you come into Grand Valley, as you probably both have. You come winding down around, and the river's on the right, and there's a park, and we have a nice entrance to the town, and I like it to be, you wind in and then you're in the Emerald City with a lot of cool little shops and restaurants, and we're building on that. We have a lot of enthusiasm in our BIA, some new members, which brings always some different ideas, and I hope that it continues, and I hope that they all try hard. I cheer for everybody. I want a winner for downtown. And when you guys are talking about county council, when you get on county council, it's the people. It's if I didn't, I wouldn't be here if I didn't like you.
Well, I'm glad you're here. That's good.
And I think that's, when I go in there, it seems like everybody just, they realize that.
We're working together.
It's a team.
Absolutely.
And that goes for your council and mine too. I've had solid guys, and I really like it. Girls and guys. It's been a good council, and I'm happy to have it. It's easy on the mayor.
And Chris, what about you? What the next? I guess we were 3 years left of the term. What are some of the hopes and dreams for Amaranth?
Well, we're just finishing up our first, I'll call it comprehensive strategic plan, because we've never done a full strategic plan. In the past, prior to my term on council, they did do sort of a mini strategic plan through the Federation of Agriculture. This one's similar to what the county has done. It's a comprehensive one, and that's my council has bought into doing that to just sort of guide our term, as well as future councils, as putting pen to paper. This is what we think is important. It's backed up by a community survey, which we had a decent response to, and that's the biggest thing, and that will drive what we get done in the next 3 years.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, that's exciting. I think there's lots of really great stuff on the horizon in Dufferin County, and Dufferin County is growing a lot. It's changing a lot. The demographics have changed a lot over the last number of years, and I think it's really great to see, and again, it's really great to work with both of you at the county level, and Steve, I also sit with you on the hydro board, so so we get to work together quite closely, and we're going to be getting kind of close to running out of time, so I want to go back to the plowing match just really quickly and just do one last plug. So Steve, I'll turn it over to you first. You got about a minute to do a good little plug.
Well, the plowing match is a very exciting event. Even if you don't like plowing, please come. There's a lot to do. As Chris pointed out, it's the rural expo part of the show that people will all enjoy. And we're close to a large center of population, the GTA. And we're pretty close, enough that they could come up for the day and see what agriculture is about. Because we seem in this area, when you leave the GTA, it's the first place you run into that doesn't feel like you're in it anymore.
That's right.
So and another plug I'll make it, when you are at the plowing match and you leave, the Grand Valley Fall Fair is on that day. So if you want to see, if you want to see some tractor pulling and then see some tractor plowing, then go and see some pulling and some other things, because it's a good fall fair. And
awesome.
It would be
so, and that runs right through to the 24th then?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so Grand Valley Fall Fair. And for you, so one more plug, we got about a minute left, so.
Well, what I hope to get out of the plowing match is that when I go to conferences now and I ask people where Amaranth, or if they know where Amaranth is, they can actually say. I've had one person in 9 years know where it was, and surprisingly, it's somebody I met in Saskatoon.
Go figure.
Who used to live here. Sort of the joke is that everybody drives through Amaranth to get somewhere else because we have no urban center. So it's just about promoting ourselves, and we have to, and getting past being humble and saying, yeah, we're proud to be here in Amaranth and Grand Valley, and this is what it's like here. So
we will hopefully see the community then at the plowing match from September 19th to September 23rd, and then over at the Grand Valley Fall Fair the 23rd and the 24th. I want to thank you both sincerely for being here today and for sharing all the information about the plowing match. And to the community, we'll see you back on the post office next week. Take care.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Allison.
Coming up on the next episode of The Parenting Show, we're talking about managing parental alienation during divorce.
It's a tough topic, but we've got some tips to help you navigate through it.
That's only on Rogers TV.
I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing.
You can't live in that world unless